And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today I'm talking to you about Golem Arcana. This is a game that comes with pre-painted miniatures that you will be able to put onto a board and fight one another. But what this game does is it means you don't have to remember any of this complicated, this terrain does this and that, or how much you need to do to hit creatures. Instead, you'll be able to use your smart device to help you, whether it's a tablet or a phone, and a light pen that will allow you to basically does all the math for you. Does that make it a good game? Let's look. Okay, for this game you need the starter pack, and in the starter pack you are going to get these models here, these 6 models here. They're from 2 different armies, so you have one of each of these 3 models. You can get expansion packs that have different models in them, or you can get the same ones that are in the Kickstarter, that are in the regular set, so that you can do them twice. Now these models themselves, I'm going to put some of them here together, and we're going to take a real close look at them so you can see basically how nice the models look. I think that they're fairly durable models. They have some really nice paint jobs on them. These are really good looking models, and you'll also notice that on the bottom of these models, they're on a base, and on the bottom of them are all the different things that monster can do, and also the name of that monster. I'm calling them monsters, they're actually golems. You will also get cards with these golems, and these cards will have different things that you can do on them. They give you all the different stats of that monster. And then you have these boards here. These boards are double-sided boards. They're nice and thick. There's a few counters to put on them. So this is nice and thick, and you can place this here and put the models on them. So what I've done here is I have a sample scenario. Everything in this game is run by 2 important things. One of those is something most people have, which is some sort of tablet or phone device. I'm going to be using the iPad here, and we're going to be showing you part of a scenario, King of the Hill, the Vasel Hooligans against the Garcia Raiders or something like that. But this is what the whole game comes down to, is this special pen here. It has a cap that goes on the end, and I've taken that cap off, this light pen here, so that you can see how this works. This is going to allow me to select things. So on this, it says it's the Vasel Hooligans' turn. I need to get 5 victory points for this scenario. It's called King of the Hill. It showed me how to set up the terrain, and I did that. And then it says press confirm to continue. So think of it as a mouse button, and you just press confirm, and now it's ready to go. Now I'm going to select one of the people on my team. On the this is the player up here, Z. He has 6 action points, and he has 4 different models that he can pick from. Now there's 2 ways you can pick the model. You can pick the model by getting the model and clicking on the name of that model. So when you do that, so let's say, now once you did that, you heard the noise, and it shows me that I'm using the Dune Viper. Another way, and a much easier way in my opinion, is to click on the card itself. So now I'm clicked on the Sand Lion, and just so you can see here, and this is the cool thing of the game. When we focus up on this screen here, and I want to pick the Horned Blight, for example, all I have to do is click on the card, and it selects the Horned Blight. Now that's some pretty cool stuff. That's really the whole aspect of the game. Now once I pick the Horned Blight, I can decide whether I'm going to walk with it or use one of my special abilities. Well, he's not anywhere near the enemy. You can see right here that he's here, so I'm going to walk with him. So again, I can pick that from his card or kind of scroll with my other button here. The other button here allows me to scroll through the special abilities that I have. So I could scroll here to walk. Once I get to walk, say I'm going to walk, and then on the screen itself, it shows you all the available squares that you can walk to. So I look at that, I look at the board, I say I want to walk, well, basically as far as I can. I want to get to this spot here. So I touch that spot, and once I do that, you'll see that it shows you the spot. I confirm to go there, and boom, I am there. So the Horned Blight has moved. And that's really the extent of the game. I've just used some action points. Again, I can look at my screen here and see that I have 5 action points left. There's also mana points that you're going to get where you can summon ancient creatures that you will add to your army as you build them. Let me play this battle a little bit more, and we'll get some guys in combat, and I'll show you how combat works. So we're a little farther into the game at this point in time, and it's going to be my turn, basically. Now, this game comes with a control card. And I'm going to show you this control card for just a second, because this control card lets you do a lot of things, but the biggest thing it will let you do is it lets you signify when you want to end your turn. So you click here, and end your turn, and it's the next person's turn. Now, when it's your turn, some of the players, like for example here, this guy is on a mana well, so I have some mana now. You also get mana for unused action points that you don't use. So I'm looking here at the screen and I have 7 mana to use. And I wonder, perhaps I can use one of my ancient ones. So for that, I'm going to click on the card that allows me to, I click on the ancient ones here. And I look and it brings up the different possible ancient ones that I have. So here I have the assassin, and you can see that she has different abilities: the stinger, open wounds, the speed of blood, but they cost different amounts of mana, and the cheapest is 8, so that's not going to work. But instead, it's time for me to now attack the enemy because they are close enough. So first I'm going to select the Carrion Raptor, and I'm going to walk them right into this spot. So I click there, and I move in. Now, there's only so much room for you to move people. There's only so many people who can fit into a spot. And it's pretty obvious there's dual bases, single bases, but the game keeps you pretty occupied on what you're going to do. But now I'm going to attack this sucker. So I'm going to take a look at my screen. I can look at the card too, but I'm going to take a look at the screen and see which of these I'd like to do. So I can pick Vampiric Cyclone, Paralyzing Spines, and Skewer. Now you'll notice that the walking is 3 action points. That's because whenever you do anything, you use it and it has to like cool down. So if you do something multiple times in a row, it will be much more difficult to continue to keep doing that same action. But I have 5 action points, so I can probably do one of these. So I'm going to select. I'm not going to walk. Now this one here, I look at this one, it says when this attack hits, the raptor gains 5 hit points. And it has an 80% chance. It does 23 damage. So maybe, let's look at the next one. Paralyzing Spines. This is a ranged attack. I can tell that it's a ranged attack because it shows me on the screen here all the different spots I can hit with that. This reduces the target's movement by 3, but regains 1 movement each round. Or I can just do a Skewer. This is just a straight up attack, a 65% chance, and does 40 damage. That seems like that's what I want to do. So I'm going to try to skewer something. So to do it, I need to tap the golem that I'm going to attack. So let's say I'm going to, I'm looking here on the board. Well, obviously I'm going to be attacking this really annoying Dune Viper. So to hit him, I now need to roll a 53 or less. How do I know that? Because my screen tells me. This is what is really cool about this game, is the fact that all the different terrain modifiers and everything in there, I need to get a 53 or less. Now, here's one thing that the game does. I can confirm 1 action point, and it will automatically tell me what I've done. So let me show you how that works. I need a 53 or less. I confirm, and I rolled a 64, so I missed. Well, that's a shame. But you know what? Maybe I can do it again. I can skewer. It only costs 2 action points. So I'm going to do it again. So this time, I'm just going to show you that I can pick it right on the card itself. I can go to the card and click on the skewer thing. And then it wants to know who I'm going to skewer. So I say Dune Viper again. This time it's going to cost 2 action points, but I don't trust these dice here. I'm going to roll dice. So I roll some dice here, and I got a 97. Okay, well, I know that's a miss. And at this point, I'm going to punch in the numbers I just rolled here. So I'd say 97, enter. 97, enter. And it shows me that that is a big miss. And really, that's the game. You're just going to keep going. When you destroy someone, it will tell you that they're destroyed and you remove them from the board. You're trying to get to different spots in this scenario to get victory points. You're trying to get to these mana so that you can unleash special abilities. They'll let you pick a territory on the board maybe sometimes and make that territory give you plus defense. And you don't have to remember all that. All that is stored in the app. The app also has an army building feature. So let's escape from this game. And we're going to go to, well, here's your armies. And this tells you, you can look over all sorts of things. This game has a nice tutorial that shows you exactly how the game works. So let's see here if I can get out of this game real quickly. There's an intro video. It shows you how to do combo plays and action points. And so it tells you how to do everything, but you also have an army builder that you can use that will allow you to build the armies that you want. So when I load it up, I can look here and I can go to Army Builder. And it says what kind of army do I want to build. I can build a 500,000 point. Once I click on the army, it tells me what faction do I want to use, and that way you know what golems you can use in your army. So I want to build one of these. I put a name in for it, new army, so I'll call it the ZZZZ army. And then I go in here and I can just add new golems to the army. So I can pick maybe the Jagara. And then I can pick what knights I want to have on it. And these are like, they'll give special abilities to it. And they cost extra points. And you can add multiple knights to this one because it's a giant golem. You can also add relics. These are things that cost more points. And then you add it to your army. That's a 445 point creature. Why is it 445 points? Well, because it's basically a titan. Look at that thing. That thing is huge. Now, I wish I could have got another titan. Right now, this titan kind of mops the floor with everything. I mean, you have to bring a lot of units against it to take it down. But I would love to see two of these guys going head-to-head. Or there are many different models and units. Now, the whole thing here centers around this light pen. And this light pen, I was wondering, you know, how well it would work. Because it's new technology. This is the first I've seen it in a game. And I have to say this thing works really well. Now, I will tell you, after a while, I got a little tired at clicking along the edges of the golems, and then once I realized that clicking on the card was just as easy, then I just clicked on the cards from then on. And these cards have all these stats and information. You can play the game without the light pen or the device, but man, that makes it a whole lot easier. You don't have to keep track of hit points. The game does that for you. I really like this. It's really cool how the pen works. It touches the card. It touches a piece of terrain on the board, and it knows where you are. The game even comes with banners. There's stickers that when you take these banners off, you can put them on these little poles, and it will keep track of all the information. First of all, stickers on poles is one of the most horrible game components ever, because you have to fold them around the pole and sticker them together exactly. Unforgiving, annoying. Nobody that I know of likes that idea, and I don't really need these banners when I can just use the cards. Sure, the banners can show you what side an army's on, but you usually know who's on your side because, again, you have the cards in front of you. The paint job on these guys is really well done, I think. They look really good. The game is expensive. There's no question about that, but I think for what you get out of it, that's pretty cool. Are these guys worth it? These giant ones? Well, I mean, even if the game is no good, this sure looks good on the shelf. It's a really cool model, and I would love to do this. In fact, I may come back and revisit this in a year or so, and I'll tell you why. Because right now, I've gone through the tutorial games, I've played some outside games, made up some armies. You saw the armies I made and fought against them. And it's cool. It works really well. I wonder, though, when you play against someone, do you need the game? I mean, you could technically play just on the iPad. And that works. But to me, there's something about the actual physical movement of this. And I love how the app can be constantly updated, and it'll come out with new figures. And once I figured out that you can use the cards and that the game moves really quickly. Is the game very deep, though? I mean, is it anything more than just run up, hold this point, smash other people? Well, no, but then you know what? I figured that that's kind of one of my favorite games anyway. HeroScape is essentially the same idea. So, I don't know. I don't know how much money I want to put into this just to test it for y'all. But I got the original game. I got an extra group of golems from each of the original armies. So I had 2 of each of those. And then I bought 1 of each of the different mercenary armies packs. So I have a total of 18 models, plus this gigantic one. And they're cool and they're expensive, and I figured that if I didn't like the game, I could turn them around because of the market for it. But man, it is really cool, and I'd like to play it some more to see. So for now, I'm giving this a good recommendation. I'm very impressed with it. The technology works great. I insist on rolling dice because I've never been happy that an app rolls dice for me. I want to actually see the dice bounce on the table and get to that number. That does add a bit of time, though, and some people aren't going to care for that. But it is neat that you only need one light pen and one device to run the game. You have to pass the iPad around or so on, and to pass the light pen around. But you can get more of these, and then the game would even go faster. So I'm enthusiastic about this. It's kind of weird because my enthusiasm wasn't very big on it at all. I thought, it's a gimmick. And then I heard some people say, no, it's really cool. So I tried it out. I said, it is cool, but is the game that good? But the more I've been playing it, the more I'm really starting to enjoy it. The models are cool. So I'm going to hang on to this one for a while. And I like to see what direction this game takes. And I think that we're going to see this sort of technology be used. And this is the first game to do it. And that's cool. And I think the game stands on its own. Like I said, I'd like to see more models. Maybe even another universe use the same system at some point. But for now, pretty cool. I think you're getting your money's worth on this. Even if you're a board gamer, you might like this because it leans a little bit in that direction. For miniature gamers, this might be a little too light, and you might be upset that this does all the work for you, but come on, that's the point. I don't want to have to sit there and go, okay, you're on grass, I'm over here, I just moved. And no, it does all that calculation for you. I need a 56 or less. And I love using percentage dice for attacks. That's cool. So, very good. Golem Arcana. Check it out.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.